Casual Movie Club. The Casual Movie Club is a podcast that comes out every week for you where two buddies listen or watch and review movies for your listening pleasure.
We listen to the movies,
We listen to the movies also. I am your host, Brian, and with me as always is my co-host, John.
Hey now, how are ya?
I'm good. What's happening, buddy?
Oh, you know, it's another beautiful day over here at the Casual Movie Club studio, and I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm feeling good also. This week was my surprise movie week.
And boy, was I surprised.
Were you surprised?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did an interesting movie, and interesting in the sense that
That's a word to describe
I'm
it.
really trying to get a read on you on a number of different things. This is a highly philosophical movie with lots of philosophical topics that I'd like to dig into with you.
Okay.
It's a movie about psyche. It's about ego, ids. It's a movie about companionship. It's a movie about growth and self-agency. The movie is none other than 1991's smash hit, tour de force, Oscar-nominated, all-star cast, Drop Dead Fred.
Yes.
Starring Phoebe Cates, Rick Mayek, with supporting roles from Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Yes, Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. Yeah. The hell is she doing in this? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. But we watched Drop Dead Fred, and this is my surprise movie. And just to give you just a little background on this movie, this is a movie I was aware of growing up. I saw trailers for it. I was aware of it. I was interested in it, but never really gotten around to watching it until I was well into adulthood. I've only seen this movie a couple of times, and I dislike it for a number of different reasons, but I generally like it. I would watch it again. So with that being said, I've got several questions for you, John, but the first and foremost is, did you like this movie?
Not at all in the least.
I knew it. I knew you didn't like it.
I liked it so little I didn't even need you to finish the question.
I figured.
I hated this movie.
Any redeeming qualities?
There were a few parts that I did genuinely LOL. I genuinely laughed out loud when, like, he pulled the grape off and the guy wearing the toga at the the wine tasting party or whatever, the toga fell off and he was butt naked. Like, that was funny.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that I was like, I just blurted out loud one of those like laughs, you know. But other than that, and the fact that the premise of the movie was made possible in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Really? What?
Getting there was the most excruciating experience I have ever had to sit through in a movie. So, other than the little tee-hee parts, this was a god-awful movie.
So there's a number of questions I want to ask you.
Bring them on.
But I want to address something that you just said. Mm-hmm. You said the premise of the movie didn't make itself clear until the last 5 minutes. Can you expand on that? What do you mean?
Maybe premise is the wrong word. The overall gist of the movie, the reason why Drop Dead Fred was in Lizzie's life, the whole his reason for coming back, and the sort of what the hell is the point of this, that was answered in that last 5 to 10 minutes for me. You know, when she went into the dreamland and you know, he finally explained how to get rid of him, and she finally did get rid of him and kind of confronted her mom and saying, you know, I'm not afraid of you, and she sort of became her own person. Like, the movie basically was so slow until that entire sequence started. Then it was really fast, and then it was over. So they could have just chopped off most of this movie, told it from the point of view of, like, maybe a flashback or something, made the entire film like a student project, 20 minutes, done. Would have been perfect. We didn't need any of that extra shit. We didn't need Charles and Annabella. We didn't need Janie and the sinking houseboat. We didn't need any of that other shit.
I disagree.
And that is totally fine.
Very strongly.
That's fine, because I will stand behind my hatred for this movie.
I don't want to discount your hatred.
I loathe this movie.
Don't want to discount that at all.
And by the way, just something I want to tell our listeners. Brian and I have a little sort of, I don't know if it's an agreement or just kind of a tradition. We both own whatever movies we watch, because we want to be legit. We watch movies on iTunes or Amazon Prime or, whatever it is. So, but, at least I'm sure I speak for you too. iTunes is probably where we buy most of our movies. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So whatever we watch, Brian will, if I do a surprise movie, Brian will buy it, so he's got it. If he does a surprise movie, I'll buy it. I refuse to spend money on this movie. I am violating that little tradition for this because this movie is not worth my hard-earned money.
Okay. Fair enough.
Now, if you want to give it to me as a gift, I'll accept it, but I refuse to buy it.
Okay.
I refuse to acquire it illegally. That's how much I hate this movie.
That was going to be my next question.
Nope. I'm not even going to waste my bandwidth that I pay the internet provider for. That's how low I consider this movie. In fact, I look at my Wi-Fi signal as being tainted as a result of having to stream this movie from your device to my TV. Like, I may need to sanitize my Wi-Fi.
Wow, sanitize your Wi-Fi? That's a little harsh.
All right, maybe I'll redact a tiny bit of it, but I hated this movie.
So here's the first question I have. The most burning.
You're on to your sixth question, but go ahead.
Well, this is the one I written down. Like the first one is, did you like it? And the second one is this one. Is Drop Dead Fred real?
No.
He's not real.
No, I don't think so.
So is the dog poop on the couch, is that Lizzie doing that, or is that Fred doing that?
You don't know. There's no way to tell.
Why is there no way to tell?
Because the movie doesn't make it obvious. Because the movie, from what I saw, she's standing there watching the whole thing.
Yes.
You don't see her doing it. There's no indication that she did it. There's only the mother's assumption that it was her because she didn't believe in or support the idea of the existence of Drop Dead Fred. So, but that's all we have. We don't have anything else to go on.
So we don't know who sunk the houseboat. We don't know who made the mud pie. We don't know who burgled all of the housewares, got the cops called, almost got her dad shot. We don't know who did all that.
Correct.
I can't accept that. It's either Fred did it or Lizzie did it, or Lizzie's really crazy. You can't.
The movie doesn't tell you that. So there's no answer to this question.
There is an answer to this question, and it's the answer. You're choosing to. You're sitting on the fence on this one.
Go ahead.
But
explain.
You are, because these things are happening.
Right.
These things are absolutely happening.
Right.
There's dog poop. There's
the mud pies. There's the sinking houseboat.
There's sinking houseboat.
Right.
Something is causing this to happen.
Right.
You are not refusing to say if Lizzie is doing it or if Fred is doing it.
Okay.
Here, wait.
Wait.
All right, I'll give you a chance to answer.
Thank you. In terms of metaphysical reality, the fact that houseboats don't sink themselves and dog poop does not manifest itself on a carpet without a dog or a person doing it, then the only logical explanation is that Lizzie did it, if Drop Dead Fred is not real. Now, Drop Dead Fred is never is not real, because there are scenes in which Drop Dead Fred is around other people who do not see him. And I refuse to accept or believe that, especially the scene where he was laying on the ground looking up the woman's skirt.
He did that twice.
She would have noticed. She would definitely have noticed.
So is there a possibility that it's so? Let's say it's Lizzie doing this, right? It's
Right.
Drop Dead Fred is not real. It's Lizzie doing this,
Right.
Is it Lizzie who is underneath the woman's dress looking up?
No, because in that case, Drop Dead Fred was a figment of her imagination, because she was kneeling down and saying to him, like, get up, come on, get up.
Right.
So there was nobody there. The only thing that people would see in reality was her bending down talking to this woman's crotch when she said she was admiring her dress and all that. So people don't see Drop Dead Fred because Drop Dead Fred is a figment of her imagination, so fine. I will concede that it was Lizzie doing those things that happened, because that was the only way that logically the dog poop would have made it onto the carpet, the mud would have made it onto the table, the Wheaties all over the place, and so forth. So I concede to logic in that would be the only way that those things could happen. As far as Drop Dead Fred being real or not, he's only real to her because she's the only one who can see him and thus presumably do the things that he was doing. However, there were scenes where the two of them were on screen and he was doing things that she wasn't doing, and you could see that things were happening, but not because of her hands.
Right.
So there's not a clear answer to this question.
I think that there is.
All right. Sell me on it.
I don't want to sell you on it yet, because I want to. There's other things that we should talk about more.
Okay, go ahead.
We're still going to be talking about this movie. We're start to finish. This episode is about this movie.
Yes,
okay?
it is.
So she's at the restaurant with Mickey, right?
Yeah.
And Fred is making her do all of these things, right?
Correct.
Makes her pour the glass of water onto herself.
Right.
Makes her throw her pasta all over the place.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes, it's a little funny, but Mickey goes way out of his way to reconnect with Lizzie. But Lizzie's just way hung up on Charles, way hung up on Fred too, and he's placating her. He's trying to play along, and he's like, "Oh, it's so amazing that you're so crazy. It's amazing that you're crazy, but it's not amazing, Mickey." It's dangerous because when you start throwing stuff around, people notice, and he almost gets into a fight. He gets thrown out of the restaurant, and he goes back in. He almost gets beat up by the dude who gets pasta thrown on him. All that to say, Lizzie is there in public, and Fred, air quotes, is making her do these things, right?
Right.
So it's still not clear if Lizzie's crazy or not, if Fred is real or not, right?
Okay.
Here's what there's three.
I'm waiting for you to hit me with the
There's three more things for you here.
Go ahead.
The next scene, she's out in the mall and she tells Fred to go away, right? And then the mall concert's happening. There's a violinist on there playing it, and then the violinist is replaced by Fred. So,
okay.
Do you remember this scene?
Yes.
So the violinist was there. We had a close-up of him staying next to the girl who was playing also. And then Lizzie sees Fred, and she goes up and she starts hitting the guy, thinking she's hitting Fred, right?
Right.
It's not hitting Fred. She's hitting the violinist. So that
says Fred isn't real.
That says Fred isn't real. Now, the last 2 points I want to make.
Which, by the way, mild redeeming factor. I thought the out-of-tune violin playing was really funny. That
was funny. I did agree with that. No one reacted to the bad violin playing though.
Right.
Also,
which all the more thing supports that Fred wasn't real.
So here's where the movie falls apart for me. When she goes to the therapist's office, right, and Fred sees all of his other imaginary friends, right, and he starts playing with them, but Lizzie can't see them, but we, the viewing audience, can see them.
Okay, I mean, I don't have a problem with that because Fred was Lizzie's imaginary friend. They had that relationship. Lizzie didn't know, Namby Bambi or whatever the fuck her name was.
Sure.
Lizzie didn't know the other guy, the big dude with the leotard on. You know, so Lizzie didn't know those other people. She hadn't invented them as far as figments of her imagination. So why would she see them out? Why would she see them?
So this is positing a world where imaginary friends exist, right? So
Sure.
why are we the audience privy if we're going through Lizzie's POV, we're following Lizzie around in this movie. Now all of a sudden we're introduced to these other imaginary friends. Now we're in like a Monsters Inc. scenario.
And why didn't we see them earlier?
Not why didn't we see them earlier? Because we're focused on Lizzie and we're focused on Fred. But I'm saying that the movie is now introducing a secondary world, a whole other universe where imaginary friends punch a clock, live their lives with their real kid friends.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
So this is. Before I was with you, this is like a Tyler Durden situation, right?
Sure.
There's a Tyler Durden situation where Lizzie has a split personality, things are happening,
Sure.
but it's not really Fred. It's all Lizzie doing it. But then you introduce these other imaginary friends, and that just opens up a whole new world. And my last point is at the very, very end, she has this epiphany and she's like, oh, I'm not afraid anymore. And she goes and she stands up to Charles and she stands up to her mother and then kind of softens on her mother. Get a friend, Mom. But then she gets with Mickey and then Mickey's kid has dropped dead Fred. Lizzie can't see it anymore.
Right.
That tells me that Fred is real.
Nope.
Fred is real.
Nope.
Fred is absolutely real.
If he was real, she would have seen him.
She would not have seen him because she's now happy. She's happy. There's no way she could see him anymore because now she's not depressed anymore. She doesn't.
That doesn't make any sense.
Her daddy issues are resolved.
Nope.
Tell me why it doesn't make sense.
No. Okay.
The therapist's office introduced this plot point.
Nope. If I am happy or I am sad or I am excited or I'm sexually aroused or whatever the fuck I am, I still see there's a speaker on that stand right there. There's a door separating this room from the other room. There's a microphone in front of your face. I still see that stuff regardless of my emotion. So the fact that she was happy is irrelevant.
You're conflating real physical objects with ghostly spirits of another world.
Okay.
You are, because the therapist's office introduces this.
See, the problem with that though is we don't see all those other imaginary friends until then.
We do. The audience do.
No, not until the therapist's office.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. You're right. You're right.
But before the therapist's office, in theory, if we've seen other kids, we would have seen other imaginary friends.
We did not, though. We absolutely did not. And Fred would have reacted to them because he reacts to them so strongly. Like, these are his work friends. These are his pals. He's known these guys for years. Maybe a few years before I see again. But Lizzie doesn't see him. Fred sees him.
I still hated this movie.
I'm not taking that away from you. I generally tolerate this movie, but I'm saying that this movie plays by one set of rules and then halfway through introduces a whole other element that changes up everything. I'm saying the movie's inconsistent. I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
Fine. Okay, and that's great. I can see how that someone might look at that and be like, whoa, that's a really cool idea. That's really artistic. I think it's a distraction. I think it's inconsistent. And I think it makes for a very slow moving and very tedious movie for a casual viewer. You know, I'm not somebody that's going to look at this. You know, I'm not someone who can easily get as intellectually connected to a movie the way that you seem to. Well, and that's fine. That's great. But I like to believe that I'm a casual movie viewer. I didn't make those connections, or I didn't see any of those things that you talked about because, I mean, it never occurred to me. I wasn't thinking about it that way. I guess maybe that's just not how my mind works, but like, I can see where you're coming from, but it doesn't make me like the movie anymore.
I'm not trying to get you to like the movie more. I'm trying to delve into the psychology of this little girl who has daddy issues.
Sure.
Her
daddy and mommy issues.
Daddy and mom. Was her mom really that bad?
Yes.
Her what?
Her mom treated her like a child when she was a grown married woman. The mom brings her home.
Because she's been crazy for 21 years. She's been crazy for years and years and years.
So you're saying that the mom's attitude was all in Lizzie's head?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the mom is the mom is doing...
I'm going crazy from doing this episode with you.
The mom is doing the best she can. Listen, John, she cuts her hair off.
I need more wine.
She cuts her hair off. She makes mud pies in the middle of the thing. Lizzie almost gets her husband shot by the police. This is all Lizzie's fault because...
No. It's not her husband that gets shot by the police. It's her father.
Right, I'm speaking from Polly's point of view now, the mom. Listen.
Okay.
Charles leaves Lizzie. Lizzie has a shit day. She gets fired from work. Husband leaves her. Husband's a piece of work, by the way.
He's a tool.
I can't wait to tear this guy apart. But listen, Lizzie comes home and muds dog shit all over the carpet. And then how does the mom react the next morning?
I found it.
She takes it in stride.
I found it interesting that she was cleaning it up herself and she didn't hire somebody to clean it.
There's that. But
I was expecting some maid to be on her hands and knees cleaning the carpet, and her mom saying, "Oh, I just had the carpet shampooed and now it's dirty again. Oh my goodness."
Was she anything more than exasperated though?
I mean, she was exasperated.
She wasn't raging. She was frustrated. She was frustrated about it, right?
Yeah.
So, how is this mom so bad? Granted, the mom shouldn't have said a few things that she said to Lizzie.
The way the mom treated Lizzie throughout the entire movie made it seem like she was overbearing, overprotective, and she never accepted her daughter as a grown woman.
Well, the reason for that is all of the messes and all of the ruckus that Lizzie made growing up. How can her mom take her seriously if she's running around talking about drop dead Fred this, drop dead Fred that? No, you're throwing yellow paint on the gardener. No, you're the one shaving the cat. You're the one making mud pies on the kitchen table and cutting your own hair. The mom is doing the best she can with this crazy out of control little girl.
We can agree to disagree.
Oh my God.
We can agree to disagree.
All right. We disagree.
You know, maybe we can put it out to you guys. And I mean, we've already had a heated discussion on this, and we're 22 minutes into our recording.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I know. So, what do you guys think? I would love to know what you, the listeners, think about this. Was Drop Dead Fred real or not? Was all this in Lizzie's head or what? Weigh in on this, because we would love to know. Shoot us a message on Twitter at Casual Movie Club, or go on our website and go to the episode page for this and comment on the page. We our site has under our blog, we actually have all our episodes here. You can comment on those pages if you want to put your voice out there. If you don't want to put it on a social media or something, feel free to go over there, comment on that. Tell us, what do you think? Do you think that, do you think Drop Dead Fred was real? What do you think of all the stuff Brian's been trying to sell me that I'm not buying?
I'm not.
What do you think?
Listen, I mean, she shouldn't have told Lizzie that she doesn't love her as much after the haircut fiasco.
Oh God. The mother lost all credibility when she said, "Oh, you try to have a kid to save a marriage."
Yeah, you shouldn't say that at all.
The mom. I was done with the mom at that point.
You can feel that in your heart of hearts, but you don't tell someone that.
No.
That's one of the worst things you could ever tell a kid.
Yeah, I know. It's almost,
especially when she's an adult and she can reason and she logically understands the impact that these words are having.
Right. I mean, it's almost like you tell a kid, apparently you dodged the coat hangers because, the abortion failed when we tried to get rid of you.
And her dad left pretty abruptly too. What the fuck? Yeah. Okay, so mom wraps up Drop Dead Fred in the Jack in the Box, and then
a Jack in the Box closed with masking tape would hold him in. I didn't buy that at all, but maybe it was more of a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
All right, I have a few questions to ask Brian. Mine are not nearly as heady as yours. Early on in the movie, I wrote this question down, and I almost am not going to ask you because I think I know the answer to this, but is this a kid's movie?
I No, it's not a kids movie.
I didn't think so.
I think it's marketed to kids, but
it came across like one just because of the
zaniness,
and how Fred behaved and that sort of thing. But do you think this is something you'd want kids to watch?
I would show this to kids around 8, 9, or 10, not younger at all. The subject matters. There's sex. There's not explicit sex, but they talk about sex.
Right. I would say maybe a little older than that. Maybe 12, 13, 14.
No, I wouldn't go as old as that. If we're going as young as possible,
yeah,
I'd probably say 10.
10 would be a good
10 would be a good
age,
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they start really developing their personalities like 8.
Yeah.
7, 8.
Did you have an imaginary friend as a child?
I did not, but I had this question written down for you too. But mine's a little different. Do you have anything more beyond the imaginary friend?
The only other thing I was going to ask, if people can't see Fred, how can they see the things that Fred does? But we kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of beat that to death.
So
my question is, who would you have play your imaginary friend? It could be real. It could be animated. They could be dead or alive. Who would be your imaginary friend?
Easily, hands down, I have the answer right for you. Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
I love Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny's a great answer.
Yes. I did not really have an imaginary friend growing up, but I had, I don't know if okay. I'll put this to you. I didn't have an imaginary friend in the same capacity of Drop Dead Fred,
Who would?
But yeah, exactly. But I loved Bugs Bunny to the fact that I kind of thought about, daydreamed about hanging out with Bugs Bunny and doing stuff with Bugs Bunny. So I never really was I never really was he wasn't really my imaginary friend, but I watched a lot of Bugs Bunny cartoons, and I almost want to say I think I even had a stuffed Bugs Bunny at one point. But Bugs Bunny was my absolute favorite cartoon character growing up, and he was the one I would say that would probably come closest to an imaginary friend.
That's a great answer. I thought,
what's up, Doc?
I wanted an imaginary friend when I was a child, and it got as far as daydreaming about them, but it was never it was really just an extension of me. It was like me looking at myself, like a mirror image of me wandering around. But that was just in daydreams. It didn't get any further than that.
Okay.
If I wanted to have it, if I could have an imaginary character, I've thought about this. I played a lot of video games growing up, and I thought about having an imaginary friend, like a fairy, like a Tinkerbell or a Navi from Legend of Zelda. But if I really wanted an imaginary friend, it would probably be 2000s pop artist Kesha.
Really?
No.
Wait.
No, not really.
Wait. Her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard?
No, you're thinking of Khalees.
Oh, God.
I'm thinking of Kesha. Wake up in the morning and my name's P. Diddy. Brush your teeth with a bottle of Jack. I don't. Listen, I saw her once in concert, and it was a crazy experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting spin on that. If you could have an imaginary friend today, who would you want it to be?
It would be Genie from Aladdin, from the animated series Aladdin.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm
with you on that.
The Robin Williams aspect of it, that personality type, that animation, fist bump.
Fist bump that. Absolutely.
Fist bump it. But that's my serious answer would be Aladdin's Genie.
And you know what? I'm with you 100%. I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
So
my other questions. Are you team? Yeah. We talked about Fred is real. Talked about Fred being imaginary. Talked about the mom. Do you have any other questions for me?
Drop Dead Fred is a raging psychopath. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Me neither.
I did not like him.
Right below that, I wrote, when Fred was sliding down the banister, I was secretly hoping he would smash into his nuts, and he did. I love that.
Yeah. How about Janie taking everything in stride?
Janie was awesome.
Was awesome. Lizzie just barges in. She's trying to get some. She's trying to get stooped by Murray.
Murray, who's like 20 years older than her.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have an imaginary friend? No, I never had an imaginary friend. I had wet dreams, though. Gross.
God.
What are you doing?
Oh, my God.
But Janie, amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Your best friend sinks your houseboat. And by the way, who has a houseboat?
Not only a houseboat, it was a river condominium.
Right.
Because it was an old school riverboat with a paddle thing on the back. Paddle wheels on the back.
Where'd you get that?
I don't know. And I mean, how easy is it to just drive a houseboat right away from the dock? As far as I know, those things are usually tied up pretty heavily.
Yeah.
They're attached to like electricity and sewage and all that stuff.
Especially if it's her house. You don't want that floating away.
No. You couldn't just like get in there and start the engines and go. So I call bullshit on that.
Yeah, but the aftermath, like Lizzie comes and just says, "Hey, I sunk your boat. Sorry, all of it's not near the top of the water anymore." And Janie's just like, "Oh my God, this is the worst. This is the worst." Who did this? Fred did this?
Yeah, and then I love how she goes and pretends to strangle Fred, and Fred's just standing there like, what is she doing?
She's like the coolest friend ever.
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, talk about looking at the silver lining in those things, like she's taking it in stride, and then later on in the movie, you see she got a check from the bank for something with a bunch of zeros. You assume it's a large amount of money.
Yeah, a couple $100,000.
Or $1 million or $2 million or whatever. She got a shitload of money from this houseboat that sank, and she's clearly over it. Like, she's like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. That's such a great friend to have.
I love how she was power walking and smoking at the same time.
Yeah.
Carrie
Who
Fisher.
Who better to play that role than Carrie Fisher?
Oh my God, she was perfect.
Perfectly cast.
All right.
All right, let me look at the rest of my notes.
Do I have anything else
I think I've written things like, I want to murder Fred. Like, I wrote that about 3 times in here. Mickey Bruce, by the way.
Yeah?
I felt for him.
Yeah. He just wanted to connect
Such
with Lizzie.
Such a good guy. I mean, a tool with the earring and, kind of a...
I disagree. I don't think... It was the style back then.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's the same with, like, wearing a button-up shirt with even the collar button buttoned with the no tie. And
that's Charles. That was Charles.
No, but he had that...
Mickey had that too?
Mickey was wearing that, too, in the restaurant. He had a shirt with a collar button button. But hey, if that's a style, fine.
It was
I don't
the
remember
80s,
that.
late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
This is the 91, so they were still late 80s.
And Mickey had this line that was like, I love the way you cut your hair. I love the way you sink houseboats.
That was awesome.
I was like, what?
I really felt for the guy.
I did too.
He liked her. He liked her a lot.
Yeah.
He liked her a lot. And what the hell was he doing climbing the tree? He just kind of climbed it. When Lizzie was trying to escape, he tried to see her.
He was just trying to get in there to see her. Maybe go to Bonetown or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, you know what they say. You never stick your dick in crazy.
Yeah.
And she's crazy.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Lizzie
she's crazy. Whether or not I agree with what we talked about in the very beginning, she is crazy.
She is crazy. And she's trying to justify her craziness when she talks to Fred at the end, and they have that conversation before she frees her inner child and all that stuff.
Right.
She's justifying her craziness to herself. And that's not okay. And what kind of therapist doesn't even see the person that they're prescribing medicine to?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
This guy's a hack.
I mean, why would... And Lizzie is a grown woman...
Easily,
but her mom goes into the doctor's office and talks to the doctor and gets the prescription? Like, come on.
Yeah, Phoebe Cates is in her mid to late 20s, easily.
Uh-huh.
And she's got no agency for herself.
Right.
The story is about Lizzie trying to get her life back. And she's crazy, and I think that she uses the craziness as an excuse to let people walk all over her. Let Charles walk all over her. At the beginning of the movie, when she goes to his work and he just blows her off and says, no, baby, we're better apart. He doesn't let her talk. She drives after him and he says, no, get out of here. We're not together.
And he convinces her that it was her idea.
She's being manipulated, and she's just too crazy and too codependent to realize it. And I really felt for her, even though I hated her craziness.
And Fred.
Yeah.
So, okay. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna.
No, say because I'm through my notes.
So this whole movie was basically a view of her psyche and her view of herself, and then Fred helping her take control of herself.
Fred. I don't know what's real anymore.
Is that? I mean, it seems like that's kind of what happened, right? Because once she stood up for herself, and once she grew a pair. Yeah. Fred was like, I'm done. Now it's time for me to leave.
Because he said to her multiple times, "Oh, if you're so happy, why am I still here?"
Right. And when she went away with Fred to Dreamland, and that's kind of when she had that aha moment. Mm-hmm. That's when she got rid of Fred.
Yeah. He said goodbye. Yes, kiss me and say drop dead Fred, and I'm gone forever. Blah 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 blah. That was a weird kiss. I didn't like that.
It was weird.
I don't like that.
But then again, when you're friends with somebody since you're a child, you grow up with this person. Are you really gonna like smooch them and make out with them on the lips?
No, no friend I have. No friend at all. I would do that with. Anyway,
I don't know that I have anything else I want to say.
I don't. I nothing that we haven't already covered.
Let's go to numbers.
Let's do it.
You want to give the rundown of numbers?
Yeah, you sound so exhausted.
I am.
I just beat you down with my questions. Okay, so if you go to casualmovieclub.com and you tap on the button in the right corner, the yellow button, and then
the one that says Patreon.
The one, the three lines that give you the view of the site.
Right. But if you're on the computer and you click on the one that says Patreon, that's a good one to go to.
Yeah, you can click on Patreon. You can become a Patreon for as little as $1. Your donations help us keep the lights on, help us keep running the show.
Right, which, by the way, we could use your help. Just putting it out there.
Absolutely.
We've
got a lot of great content.
We do, and you guys get access to the podcast a day early.
Yeah.
Among other things. So join up.
But go to casualmovieclub.com and go to the leaderboard.
Casualmovieclub.com.
And we rate these movies out of 6 different categories. And we rate them each out of 5. The 6 categories are as follow. The first is acting. How well did the actors convey the story? How believable were they? John, what's the next category?
That would be the script. How well was the dialogue written? Was it a good story? Was there good exposition? Was it believable? How was it presented? That's the next one.
The presented is presentation. That is editing and visual effects primarily. Were there too much? Was there not enough? Was there a lot of green screen? How were the effects in service to the movie as a whole? The next, goodies for your eyes.
Right, but then we can't leave the ears out because we got the goodies for your ears. The goodies for your ears. It's the music and sound, the soundtrack as a whole, the sound effects, the score, the music, the little noises. Did your ears enjoy it as much as your eyes did? Was this movie unique?
And by unique, we mean, has this movie been done before? Is there anything like it? Is there anything that this movie was maybe inspired by? And this category, we really try to focus on movies that happen on or before the year that it came out. So Drop Dead Fred is 1991. So we're really focusing on movies that happened before 1991.
Right.
And finally, the engagement factor.
Does this movie keep you engaged? Are you stuck to the screen? Are you dying to find out if Fred is real or if he's just a figment of some crazy chick's imagination?
Don't you disparage Phoebe Cates.
Or would you just rather be sitting on your phone reading Twitter waiting for the credits to roll? That having been said, those are the criteria for our leaderboard. We're going to kick it off with some numbers here with, I am going to just be thrilled to start out by listening to Brian give me his acting score. Brian, what did you think of acting?
So there were some decent performances in here, and decent in service to a movie like this, a movie that isn't sure if it's a kid's movie or not. There's some great actors in here that turned in, again, decent performances. Nothing really bad, unless you're talking about Mickey, unless you're talking about Charles. They were bad actors. But everything else was just kind of medium to me. I really felt this was a three movie for acting. Middle of the road.
You're going with 3?
I'm going with 3.
Oh. I'm going with 2 because I did not like I thought that, Charles was definitely a pretty terrible. I thought the actor who played Mickey was pretty terrible. I mean, the character was fine. I could relate to the character, but the actor was just pretty bad. Drop Dead Fred was obnoxious, and I hated him every time he was on screen. So, for me, acting was a 2. I'm going to continue on with the script and I'm so excited to give this because I hated the story. I hated how intellectual this was. I hated the entire thing. I'm only giving above a 0 because they actually got words on paper. It's a 0.25 for the script for me.
Oh, geez, that's the harshest score I think you've ever given.
I don't think... Have we ever given a 0 for anything?
I don't think we should give a 0.
No, so 0.25, a quarter of a point, because they got words on the paper. That's all I'm giving it.
Now,
not a point more.
The script was... The story was bad. I think you might be giving it a little too much credit when you say how intellectual it is.
It's pretty damn heady.
By accident, not on purpose, and I think that's a failing of the script. And
you better not give it more than a 2.
I'm giving it 2. Don't.
That's generous.
Don't preempt my score. But I'm saying that it's not very well written, and the things that we talked about should have been addressed in the script,
Agreed.
But wasn't. It was left to us to just kind of wander through and what were they really trying to say?
Right.
So for that, I'm giving it 2.
All right. Presentation. What'd you think of that?
It was decent. I mean, the effects were bad. The effects were not good, and the things that really stood out to me there's 2, and that is the eye bugging. When he was when Fred was on the floor and looking up the skirt.
Yep.
The other thing was the flat pancake face.
Yep.
It was fine. There was a little bit of green screen action going on.
A little bit.
When he was blinging in and out of existence, when he was teleporting around.
Yep.
It could have been better. It was fine though. I'll give it a 2.
Again, you're being far too generous. Presentation for me, I did not like when he kind of faded in and out of existence. I agree with you on the pancake face bit there. Also, when he would, when Lizzie would sneeze and he would like get flung all over the place, that looked pretty horrendously bad. That was clearly all green screened. And this came out in 1991. Star Wars that came out in 1970-something did a hell of a lot better of job than this. So the technology and the capabilities were there. Being that Star Wars is 20 years older than this movie, the technology should have been more affordable and more available. So they could have done much better. Presentation 1.25 for me.
Beetlejuice was 1988.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say Beetlejuice is a much better movie than this one.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Are you music and sound next? Or no?
I am. So music and sound, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't love the scoring. I thought the overall, I could hear the dialogue. It was mixed pretty well. It's going to be a 2 for me, music and sound.
A 2?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking points off for the score. I didn't love the scoring. I mean, maybe I'd kick it up to a 2.5, but all right, fine. I'll give it a 2.5. Just being a little more generous, but it just nothing blew me out of the water, and I didn't care for the scoring.
I thought the scoring was very appropriate for the kind of movie that this was. There you go. There it is.
Yep.
One every episode.
It has to be.
I thought it was scored well. Didn't like the music.
Right.
I didn't like a lot of the sound effects, but I thought it was scored appropriately for the kind of movie it was.
Okay.
There was one scene where there's like big saxophone. It was like near the second third of the movie. I forget where it was. She was coming home from something, and there was this squealing sax for whatever reason. I don't. Oh, it was when she was making out with Charles on the couch, and she was taking the pills.
Okay.
And Fred was about to be out of existence.
Right.
I thought they did very well with the score. I'm giving it a 3.
All right. Uniqueness. What do you got for that?
This is fairly unique, and from my estimation anyway. It's funny that we brought up Beetlejuice, because Beetlejuice is a movie that I think of when I think of a movie like this. You've got like a ghost or like a ghost or an imaginary friend or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's unique in that, but at the end of the day, it's like a buddy cop film. You've got two partners, one weird, one kind of buddy cop is a stretch. Right,
very, very thin stretch.
I'm failing to articulate
I know
the
what
genre.
You mean. It's a buddy movie.
It's a buddy movie. You got a partnership, and you've got one that's straight, and one's like the comedic guy. So we've seen a lot of this done before. This is fairly unique, though. I would give this a 3.
As much as I don't want to give this anything above a 2. I'm actually going to go with a 2.75 actually on this, because this, I was drawing that Beetlejuice comparison a lot in this, and I kind of felt like it was very similar to Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, obviously, like you said, came out earlier than this, so this took a lot of its, sort of vibe from Beetlejuice. Also, I found that there was a little bit of redeeming factor in that it was sort of that heady look into the psyche of the main character and then kind of asking all those questions. It was a little more of an intellectual Beetlejuice than it was what Beetlejuice was, if that makes sense. So I think that deserves a little bit of points, but I can't give it anything more than a 2.75.
We should do Beetlejuice.
I agree.
That's a really good movie.
So engagement factor, I'm up here. I'm just going to throw this out there. It's a 1 for me. I was not engaged in this movie at all. I was resisting asking you to, because we streamed it from your phone to my TV, so I was resisting having you pause it so I could see how much more the movie was, but it was part of it was just agony for me to sit through. I checked my email a couple times. I was on Facebook a little bit, taking some notes, so I didn't like it at all. It is a 1 for me.
This movie definitely dragged for me at a few parts, but like this is, I'm very interested in figuring out this story, because I don't think that this is a movie that knows what it's doing. It doesn't know what it's done. It put out concepts, put out ideas out there. It felt like it was just like, willy-nilly. Oh, and then she goes to the therapist's office, and then there's other imaginary friends, and then she has to fight her inner demons. Charles, her mom, so herself, free your inner child. So I feel like that they put some things out there. I would watch this movie again and again.
Not me.
I would even go so far as to watch it in a group just to see if it elicits the same questions that I had for it.
Okay.
I was engaged at a level of 3.
Oh God. Okay. That being the last one, do you have any take-backsies, or are you locking in your scores?
Let me take a look here.
You had a 3 for acting, a 2
for script,
2 for presentation, a 3 for music and sound, a 3 for uniqueness, and a 3 for engagement. Those are way too high, if you ask me, but that's just my opinion.
Where am I at music and sound? Was it 3?
Music and sound, you're at a 3.
My 3? That would be the only one to take back, but that's yeah, lock them in for me.
Okay. And I'm locked in as well, because I think my take backsies was used.
You did. It was,
I don't remember.
It was
I need
in music
more
and
wine. But it is clear that you liked this movie more than I did. My total average 1.63, yours 2.67 for the total average. But now let's read the entirety of these. So the all of our categories, and I hate to say this, but this did not make the bottom 2.
But is it bottom 3?
Well, we're about to find out. So Drop Dead Fred from 1991, a movie that I wish would just drop dead. Acting, 2.5. Script, 1.13. Presentation, 1.63. Music and sound, 2.75. Uniqueness, 2.88. Engagement, 2. Total average, 2.15.
Whoa!
So it's bottom
Blues
3.
Brothers.
It beat The Room, and it's just below Blues Brothers. So you realize what you just did. Blues Brothers is a better movie than this. But then again, a lot of things are...
I disagree with that.
Blues Brothers, apparently, the numbers don't lie.
No, they don't.
The numbers don't lie. Blues Brothers apparently is a better movie than this. Scooby-Doo is a better movie than this. The Wraith, Speed... just about everything on our list is a better movie than this. I don't even know that I would say... I don't know if this is better than The Craft, but I think The Room is better than this. And you know how much you love The Room. That's why I was kind of hoping you would give some lower scores. But, hey, it's Casual Movie Club. So those are the numbers, and that's it. So we got bottom 3 on that. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm okay with that. At least it's not higher. If it was higher, I'd have a real problem with it. Kind of wish I would be able to take it off the list entirely,
Oh, man.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
I'm so glad you asked. So let me pull up my notes because as you folks may or may not be aware, we are in the middle of November, which means we're almost at December, which means we're almost at winter break.
Holiday movies.
Holiday movies and also holiday hiatus from the Casual Movie Club. Because as much as we love doing these podcasts for you, we do need a little break from time to time. But we've got some great things coming up for you. We're not done yet, so don't worry. Don't freak out. We're still coming at you until the middle of December. So do we want to kind of let everybody in on what we're doing or what our plan is, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah. Let's let them all in.
All right. So here we are going to do a Casual Movie Club first. We're going to let you guys in on our plan for the coming week. So next week, which is going to be the episode that releases on December 5th. We are doing a classic. Actually, no, that's going to be 2 weeks from now, because Brian is actually going to be out of town. So we're actually releasing an episode we recorded some time ago. We're releasing a movie called Airheads, which is a pretty funny movie. It's Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi's in it. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. So that's coming out next week. Then the week after that is going to be the episode coming out on the 5th of December. It's going to be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So classic John Candy, Steve Martin movie. Definitely a holiday staple. It's a little more of a Thanksgiving holiday staple, but things just weren't working out for us to do that movie just yet. So it's going to come out just after Thanksgiving, but hey, same
That's close enough.
Exactly. So then we're going to kick it into holiday gear. December 12th, which is that Thursday afterwards, is going to be The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. What a funny movie. I love that movie, and I'm looking forward to watching it with you. Then we're going to have, for our last episode of this season of Casual Movie Club, which is coming out on December 19th, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
That is going to be how we end our season with you here. And then we're going to be off for a couple of weeks. We do have a special that's going to come out during the time that we're off. So don't forget about us. Don't forget about your friends John and Brian here in the Casual Movie Club, because in the middle of January, maybe on the 9th or so, you're going to get a special episode from us that's going to keep your whistles nice and wet, because on the 20th, we're going to be coming back. January 23rd, 2020, we're coming out with the David Bowie classic Labyrinth.
Woo!
So we are kicking off the new season of Casual Movie Club in January of 2020 on January 23rd with Labyrinth. But until then, you still got some other great movies coming up with us. And we're going to be with you for a little bit longer here this year before we take ourselves a little break.
A little winter hibernation.
Little hibernation, that's right. We gotta rest up so we can keep on bringing you guys some awesome movies into the double 20s.
You got it.
Now, as always, if there are movies you guys would love to see, we would love to hear from you. Tweet us at Casual Movie Club. You can Instagram us at Casual Movie Club. You can email us casualmovieclub@hotmail.com. You can even call us and leave us a voicemail or text us at 402-882-2742. Once again, it is 402-882-2742. And it's not a live number, so we're not going to randomly pick up on you and put you on the spot. So I know some folks are not a big fan of that. But we would love to hear from you. We've gotten a couple of text messages in. So far we got someone asked us a question a few episodes back. So please feel free to use that stuff. We would love to hear from you. You can go on our website, casualmovieclub.com, where you can see our leaderboard, which is all of our movies we've done so far. Look at the click on the blog and see our list of episodes there. You can comment on those things. You can definitely interact with us in a whole bunch of ways. We would just love to have you be a part of the Casual Movie Club. And like Brian alluded to a little bit before, you can even join our Patreon. We would love to have you be a part of the Patreon and help us out financially. If you can, give us anything, $1 a month or more. And the more you give, the more perks you get, including being a possible guest host on an episode.
How cool is that?
Wouldn't that be awesome? Through the miracle of the internet, we can bring you on an episode. But you can even participate in helping us pick movies to do. And that sort of thing. You also have access to Patreon-only content. So definitely get in there. And I don't know if I mentioned this. You'll get the podcast a day early. Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, right there. I mean, why wait till Thursday till you can get us? You get those on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Midweek benefits.
Just makes sense.
We are your friends with benefits on Hump Day. That was a stretch. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. I think we're good. What do you think?
Yeah, we're good. Let's wrap it up.
All right. So
until next time.